Okay, good morning, my dear students. So, today I am going to teach you social science, and today's the topic is the changing shape of the moon. You can see the picture here, the changing shape of the moon. The moon takes 28 days to travel once around the earth. As the moon circles around the earth, the shape of the moon appears to change. This is because we can see only the bright side of the moon that receives sunlight. These different shapes of the bright part of the moon as seen from the earth are called the phases of the moon. So what we see here, the brightest object that you can see in the sky during the night is moon. You will see that the moon is never same from one night to the next. This different shape of the moon is called the phases of the moon. To understand it clearly, let me tell you the way the earth and the moon moves on the space. The moon orbits around the earth much like the earth orbit around the sun. However, the Earth takes 365 days to travel around the Sun 1 year, and Moon takes 28 days to travel once around the Earth. Okay, now let me tell you one more thing, that is Moon does not have its own light. It only appears to shine brightly in the sky because the light of the sun heat it and bounce back. Now you all can see the earth in the middle. Just like a earth, the moon also has day side and night side. Now let now let us see how the cycle of a new phase begin. The cycle of a new phase begin with the new moon. You can see the diagram of new moon here. Okay. When the moon is between the sun and the earth, the bright side of the moon is away from us. Hence, this phase has dark moon, and we cannot see the moon or see only the outline of the moon. This is called the new moon. So what we see here, in new moon, the moon becomes completely dark because of the unlight side is facing the earth. New moon is the only time when the solar eclipse can happen because it is the only time when the moon is between the sun and the earth. After a few days, once the moon has moved along its orbit, we can see the day side of the moon from the earth. What we see is the thin side of the light, which we call a waxing moon. Okay, now let us see the waxing moon. You can see the diagram of waxing moon here. Okay. After the new moon, we can see more and more bright side of the moon. This phase of the moon is called the waxing moon. So what is the meaning of waxing? Waxing means growing. The waxing moon will grow a little bigger every night until it reach its next phase, the full moon. Okay, you can see the full moon diagram here. Okay. 14 days later, the bright side of the moon becomes visible to the earth. When the complete bright moon is visible to us, it is called the full moon. So what we see here, a full moon is the brightest phase of the moon, and during the full moon time only the lunar eclipse take place, because that is the time when the earth's shadow fall on the earth. The moon continues on its path and it began to shrink again as we began to see its more and more of its dark side. A few days after the full moon, the moon appears give us again, but this time that is waning moon. Okay, you can see the waning moon diagram here. Okay, after the full moon, we can see less and less of the bright side of the moon. This is called the waning moon. First, let me tell you what is the meaning of waning. Waning means shrinking or getting smaller or smaller. And we can see less and less of the bright side of the moon is called the waning moon. And it will continue shrinking every night till it vanishes completely. And this cycle will repeat continuously. Okay, this was the last phase of the moon. Now, my dear students, what is your duty that today when you will see the moon in the sky, what you have to do? You identify which phase of the moon you are seeing and try to figure out which will come the next. Okay, thank you. Stay home, stay safe.